Yes.
And second of all, you know, I noticed that there was, we put recreation, but there's not a green space option. And I think that that really has to be concerned, because green spaces suck up moisture, suck up water. They don't flood and get destroyed when there's a hurricane. If you build a really nice set of buildings here, and God knows I hope you do, they have the risk of being destroyed like everything else on the lakefront. And you guys have kind of already been through that. So I want to know what the plan is for that. And my second question is, why aren't we talking about green spaces as one of the options, or at least part of the options?
Well, I mean, a few things. Number one is, I think I said Representative Hilferty had a component based solely on this issue, so I'm not alone. That's what I said, so just let's be very clear. It was pretty much a one-issue race, which was West End. And again, I'm not trying to embarrass anybody here, but the numbers were overwhelmingly, and again, Orleans and Jefferson Parish, both parishes voting in that, was north of 80%. So we can disagree, but I take that as a proxy vote because the sole purpose of the candidacy was West End. That's number one. Number two is, this is more than any LCI meeting I've ever seen in the recent memory, and twice as many people who are in Jefferson Parish. There's never a great time. People have soccer games, people have things with their kids, there's competing events. That's just the nature of the beast, and we want to make sure we can accommodate people and also get them home to their families. I think that's incredibly important. The last thing, I've said this already, and I know people may not like the answer, but two things. One is, this area was commercial for a super long time. It has been commercial. And look, I've been on a lot of zoning fights where people are mad about a restaurant that hasn't been there before, a bar that hasn't been there before, some other amusement facility that hasn't been there before. This has been commercial for forever. It has been. And secondly, West End Park will be left alone, and I think Brian went through a lot of detail about how the commercial activity there will actually help the ecology as opposed to the bits and pieces that they're able to do right now. And so I am not insensitive to paving over a parking lot, right, that old song, but I do think that what you strive for, and this is a word I use all the time, is balance. And the balance is, you have a smaller footprint, you have things that will be respected within the park itself, and then you generate revenue that not only helps the amenities in the area, but that also helps the species, wildlife, flora, and fauna in the area too.
Stan Murray. Stanton?